Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Salve TV. This is Monica Kunzekwe Guta, your host. Today I have got Mr. Maforo here. We are talking about missed opportunities as people who live in the diaspora. But first of all, I want to appreciate Project 34 services. Project 34 services is the one that is sponsoring Salve TV. So if you need your services, if you're building, you need someone who is going to help you establish your work whilst you're in the diaspora, and you want someone who is going to, or a company that is going to do as you say and make your dream come true, contact Project 34 services with Oliver Nyapimbi. I'm waiting for Mr. Maforo. He's here now. So I'm just gonna add him to the discussion. I think he's on the road. So we see how we get on. Mr. Maforo, how are you? Can you greet your audience?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I will greet you first. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I want to greet all those who are joining us live now, and for you all who will join us later, please receive my greeting, and I bring it from my heart to you.
Thank you, thank you. Today our topic is the diaspora question, opportunities and missed opportunities. And so we know that things have been changing. Some of us left Zimbabwe over 20 years ago. I believe this is what we're talking about, right, Mr. Maforo? Is this opportunities here, opportunities back home? I give
Well,
you
I
the,
think that
go ahead.
what we want to do here, which I think is of benefit to all those who are in the diaspora. I don't know statistics, but I think there are a lot of Zimbabweans outside of Zimbabweans, and some of the countries that is a good number of Zimbabweans is, they include South Africa, Australia, England, United Kingdom, and now I think that several countries in Asia, like the United Arab Emirates, there's quite a lot. And maybe somebody can help us with the statistics. But what we want to think about, what we want to think about in this conversation is, what are the opportunities for us in the diaspora that will benefit our country, Zimbabwe, but also go the other side of the coin and start thinking, what are some of the missed opportunities in this process? Is that clearer now? You are probably on mute.
Absolutely, that has been well elaborated. We are looking at the opportunities that is in the countries that are hosting us and see how we can use those to develop our own country, Zimbabwe. but also look at some of the opportunities that are back home that we might have missed. I know of a few people who have
Oh,
done projects that they started from scratch, and in no time they're working in collaboration with people in the US to build schools, to build wells and all that. Mr. Maforo, I'll give you an opportunity to elaborate.
of course, of course. You know what? There is what I can call the temptation of being in the diaspora. Before I talk about the temptation, I think that people in the diaspora, they are in different categories. There are people who are in the diaspora, and they have now assimilated, they have now become part of the countries where they are domiciled, and they do not have a,
I think we lost you a little bit there. They do not have what?
they do not have a plan of relocating back to Zimbabwe. Then there's a group of people who are planning on investing or plowing back in Zimbabwe. And these are different uh, groups of people, because then it has implications on how much they will plan to invest in Zimbabwe or in their country of domicile. So this is what is important. So then I come to the temptation. The temptation is that each of the countries where we are domiciled, there are dreams that we can chase in those countries. So as we chase those dreams, which is a good thing, and those dreams including taking advantage of educational opportunities, opportunities to flourish. But what I call the missed opportunities is when, in the process of chasing our dreams, we lose sight of the opportunities and the expectations from our home country. So that's what I am imagining as a route for conversation, to then think of the missed opportunities can be found in the process of chasing other dreams and then miss on what is going on in our country. So, for example, we can talk about opportunities in Zimbabwe in the farming sector, opportunities in Zimbabwe in the mining sector, opportunities in Zimbabwe for plowing back to the same villages that raised us, to the same towns that raised us. So it's very possible to miss the opportunities. And one of the ways of missing the opportunities is found in the crisis that we talk about in Zimbabwe. So in the process of all these crises, sometimes people will not pay attention to what opportunities are there. So that's the summary I just wanted to give as we lay the ground for this conversation.
Absolutely. Some of the opportunities I'm learning from being part of South TV and inviting different guests to talk to us about what is going on. For example, I had never heard of the 2 hectare lifestyle. And listening to Mr. Mabanga talking about what people could do just on 2 hectares, I was very impressed. And I think it's when we have discussions like that, we are able to open our minds and maybe think outside the box.
Correct. And therefore, my question for you is yes, Self TV is one such opportunity, but do you think we have enough platforms where people get to know the opportunities in Zimbabwe?
I think it depends on what you're looking for when you're watching some of these programs. So we have programs like I think we have programs like Zimbo Live. You hear about the current affairs that they'll be talking about. So they're talking about issues of what is happening. Then it depends on what you are actually looking for. So if you are intentional and you are paying attention, you might then pick up that, oh, you know what, in such an area, this has come up. What can we do? What can we do to sort it out? And there is another one. What's her name? She goes to villages and address people and talk to people who've got challenges.
Or
Is
is
it
that
Shima TV?
Shema TV?
Yes. And so it's when you look at programs like that. So we do have a few programs. What is important then is to pay attention.
Okay, that's and I will talk about, couple weekends ago, I was in Dallas, Texas, and there was a huge platform. I did not have an opportunity to go into it. It is called the Zim Expo. And the
Okay.
Zim Expo is a platform where I believe government and businesses, they come to showcase some of the opportunities that people can access, some of the investment opportunities, and different kinds of opportunities, how to navigate through in order to be able to do any form of investment. So that's one such event. And I think that there is also the Zimbabwe Achievers Awards. And this platform, it definitely can be a great opportunity for people to know, because I think some people don't know. One of the things that blocks, or rather is an obstacle for people from knowing, is politics. People talk politics more, but they do not get to know the other things that their peers are doing. So I think that the Zimbabwe Achievers Awards is a great platform to know some of the opportunities, some of the programs, some of the projects that our fellow Zimbabweans are doing. And in interacting in such events, you are exposed, and therefore you get to know. But I'm just trying to be modest here, because you and I know that in Kansas we host the Building for the Future conference. The Building for the Future conference primarily focus on philanthropic projects that people are actually doing in Zimbabwe. So I think that in this conversation here, we are trying to appeal to people to begin to focus on such opportunities. And I mentioned at the beginning, that the many things that we have going on in chasing our dreams in the diaspora, they can blind us totally. They can blind us totally from even wanting to know. And I think that that's one problem. The other problem is that the fact that many Zimbabweans in different parts of the world, because of their different immigration status, cannot travel to Zimbabwe, and therefore what they saw 20 years ago, or even 3 years ago, is what is still occupying their minds, because most of the platforms we have, they more or less showcase the problems, the crises, but we are looking for opportunities that we are missing in the process.
Yes, I like that you mentioned the Zim Achievers Awards. That is a very good event and a great platform to showcase what individuals, organizations, and cooperatives are doing in their host countries, but them being Zimbabweans, to showcase what they are doing where they are, as well as their connection and contribution to Zimbabwe. However, I feel that there is a missing link, because for an event like that, it seems as though it's not advertised enough, unless I don't know where to look. Because I only saw photos and videos over the weekend that there was something like that in the UK. It would have been nice to be able to even watch that live on live stream, unless I missed it. But it helps people worldwide nowadays using social media. People in different parts of the world could be part of that, and do not necessarily need to be somewhere physically to witness what is happening and to get to know some of our huge contributors, or contributors to our society or our Zimbabwean community.
I I missed some of what you said there, but I think that I do agree with you that the awareness level of what is going on in the Zimbabwean community in the diaspora, the awareness level is very low. So I think I will agree with you there that if you have not participated before, you are probably not going to know what is happening, and therefore, yes, um, there's probably quite some advertising there, but it's not widespread. I also usually follow the Zimbabwe Achievers Awards, but I did not know until after the event. But I think that I also have a responsibility. I must look out for, and I must be interested and find out when are such events happening. But I think that for us who follow social media is there's just a whole lot of things, and controversies, they kind of preoccupy us so much that we miss the bigger picture. So I think that's one of the problems. So, but I just wanted to celebrate the fact that yes, we do have platforms, but now we need all the organizations that are involved in coordinating these kinds of programs. There should be a high level of networking so that the information is just readily available. There is more networking, there's more coordination, and therefore we are not overwhelmed by crises, by controversies, and so forth. So, yes, I wanted to say there's something we need to celebrate here. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to say that within the Zimbabwe diaspora community, we must celebrate uh, the fact that the philanthropic spirit among Zimbabweans has grown. So this is an opportunity. People realize and take advantage of the opportunities in the diaspora to mobilize resources which they will plow back to disadvantaged communities, to people who are underprivileged, to people who may be victims of domestic violence or anything of that sort. But I think that there is a very visible uh, activity, uh, quite some traction here in the area of philanthropy and charity work. And so I wanted to identify that as a key opportunity.
Yes. I think it would be nice to have a directory as well. I don't know if anyone is working on that. A directory of what sort of services are out there, what sort of organizations, um, what sort of organizations are out there who are doing philanthropic work to support people in Zimbabwe, so that people who want to contribute and support whichever one they want, they're able to just look for what resonates with them and then support them.
I know that I'm in USA and I can talk about some of the organizations that I know, organizations like Women of Dominion, organizations like Christian Fellowship International, organizations like Building for the Future. I think that recently I followed a program, the Olinda Chapel Foundation. I can go on and on. So I agree with you there that we need information, we need a directory, we need to find a place, uh, a place of convergence where these philanthropic activities can be known.
Mhm.
But I think the key thing here is that as Zimbabweans, let us celebrate what each other is doing, uh, especially in this area of philanthropy. Um,
Mhm.
we have all come from a village. If you have not come from a village, you have come from a township or from
Mhm.
a ghetto. any suburban area we can think of. We also
Yes.
we also have our own families. Actually, we have families. Um, I recently did a very brief presentation when I went to the CFI. The introductory picture I put there, you have probably seen it. A big man who eventually goes back to the village and trying to go into a washroom,
Yes.
and he cannot
Yes.
fit in it. So this is a reminder for us that, you know, we have places that we have come from.
Mm-hmm.
As good as it is for us to chase the dreams, can we think about where we came from so that one day when we go on a visit, uh, we won't be embarrassed to show our children where to take a bath, where to go to the bathroom, uh, where to sleep. So part of plowing back begins at that very basic level. So I think that this is key. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to put on your thoughts on that?
Yes. The reason why I am smiling when I hear about the example that you're giving about the man who wasn't able to go into the bathroom. I was just imagining someone stepping on it and it collapses on them because of the
Yes.
because they have not. It's just the bathroom they used 40 years ago, and they have not done anything to help the parents, or even to help the family members. Um, and some of them are not taking their children home because they haven't done anything.
Yes. They don't
So
want
the
to be associated with a place that they grew up in, with a house they grew up in, and therefore, when we think about missed opportunities,
Mhm.
that's one area where we are missing the opportunity to make a change. So, which means it begins at that very small and basic level of changing your own self, your own home, your own village. So it
Mhm.
begins there. Uh, you might say, I can't invest in Zimbabwe. The economy is like this. How about begin where you
By
can
Mhm.
make a change?
Absolutely, and I think that's a good point for us to bring. um, Project 34 Services is sponsoring South TV. Project 34 Services is owned and run by Mr. Oliver Nyapimbi. And you can approach them, talk to them about anything you want to build, from the concept until you until they bring whatever concept you have, until they bring it to life. So start you can also even start by contributing whatever you have towards what you want to build, and they start buying materials for you. So there is no excuse for not building something at home, because you have a company that is professional and will send you pictures and keep you posted every step of the way.
Of, of,
Misty,
of
yeah,
course,
go ahead.
of course, and I can appreciate that. And you know, I know that some of the opportunities we have missed, I think some people have now intentionally decided, I'm not going to do that because I tried to do this, the money was stolen. I tried to do this. I was blocked by somebody. I tried to do this, but it's never a reason to stop. Think about Dr. Martin Luther King. He never stopped. You know, he suffered. Uh, I don't know if I could easily go through that. It wasn't easy for him either. Uh,
Mm-mm.
you know, we have to keep on keeping on, and it's good that you bring that point because it's now time that people should use and engage professional organizations, professional companies, and that's why earlier on I was talking about the Zim Expo. It's a platform where you get uh, the direct access to the resources, to the coordination, and therefore you don't have to think about ndoziya ningi ninganoziya ningi achandiitira. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta engage the right people at the right time if we need something done. I think many people have now learned it the hard way, but
Mm-hmm.
we should never give up. I have always heard people say, you know, Zimbabwe is the only country we have. You know, it's not replaceable. Our frustrations, our anger, our disappointments uh, should never divert us from focusing on the possible changes, you know, that we can make. But
Mm-hmm.
but you know, I just want us to recap here for somebody who will watch this from, you know, people choose where to start watching. What we are talking about today is this discussion is about diaspora opportunities and missed opportunities. I just wanted to say that opportunities are not always there.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunities come and go. So when we have this opportunity in the diaspora, it's not always going to be like that. And you and me know that
Things change.
everybody knows that we do not live forever. And sometimes our life is cut short when we are still expecting to go forward. And it can be cut short before you actually make an impact. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that if we have missed the opportunities to this end, let us mobilize each other. And therefore, I appreciate this opportunity that you gave me for us to bring this conversation into perspective and
Mm-hmm.
say that this is a great opportunity that we have. Things are not always going to be the same. Some of the opportunities we have today can change tomorrow. It can be death, it can be inflation, it can be, uh, you know, incapacitation. So when we
Mm-hmm.
have the opportunity, we all uh, can use it.
Absolutely. So the opportunities that we have today and the opportunities that we can look out for and see, just go on a mission. Decide that I am going to look for opportunities here in the diaspora and opportunities that are back home. Talk to people. Maybe sometimes instead of focusing on the focusing on the argument that might be going on social media. You can actually go on pages where they talk about building in Zimbabwe, where they're talking about let's build in our rural areas, and see what other people are doing, so that you get encouraged and get inspired. But also to look at other people who are doing philanthropic work, and also support them, because we do not work in isolation. We work together. We have this thing say tsumo itsumo anditi. It says chara chimwe achitswanye inda. One finger can't crush lice. And so, as huge as our country is, we all know different places and different areas, and we are exposed to different needs. We can use this opportunity to support each other. Chime in, Mr. Maforo.
And I think that even as we begin to move towards conclusion, I think our time is taken away. I think that we need to, try to come up with there's some take homes from what we have already said now. We have tried to identify, and it's not even an exhausted list. I think we need to identify Zimbabwean organizations that are operating in the diaspora. I think we need to compile a list, like you said, a directory, a one-stop shop where people find information about all the organizations, whether they are business organizations, philanthropic, charitable organizations, that are, accessible in the diaspora. If we can do that, then we are able to then share that information. Because I think one of the, things that we have just identified is the gap. There is a gap in terms of information. How do people access information so they get to know when CFI hosts its events, when Women of Dominion host their events, when Zim Expo host their events, when Zimbabwe Achievers Awards host their events, when Olympic Chapel Foundation host their events, and even church organizations, interdenominational organizations, create a one-stop shop in terms of information where then people are able to access it, because sometimes it's just because people have not had a handle on the information that is so important and significant. So I think that's important, even for those who are deciding to go and invest in Zimbabwe. Where do they go? That kind of information, I could say that's the take home for us. Would you have another take home for us?
That's the major one for me, because I really was disappointed. I wanted to cheer on some of my friends who I saw that they achieved something on the Zimbabwean Achievers Award. If I had had the opportunity even to watch them virtually, I would have loved that opportunity, instead of just seeing snippets of short videos that people recorded and just waking up to see photographs, and we had no idea that this was happening. And it would have been nice if more people would have known that tonight is the night. And those who wake up early, like what we do when we watch events that happen probably in the UK, or when something is going on about Prince Harry or whatever. People wake up to watch these events, and then because we are on different time frames, I would have loved to either wake up or stay up late watching the Zim Achievers Award, um, and also getting to know about some of the activities, and to know some of our philanthropies, as well as people who are in the entertainment, because they are also very important to us. They offer us a relief, they offer us entertainment, they educate us. And so it is important that we have that. It's something that I will look at, and then I will get back to you.
To see, again, like you are saying, because of the different time zones and so forth, there is obviously going to be many things that you will not be able to watch in real time. But when we have the information, then people are able to be directed to the websites. They are able to be directed to the social media handles, and even if you missed an event, the beauty of technology these days is you can see it later, and that's also important, because you still get access to the information. You may have missed it in real time, but you get to see it. You get to get the information, and so what we have really tried to focus on today, I will acknowledge that we touched here, we touched there, we touched here, we touched there. What we want, what we are aiming to say is, there is an abundance of opportunities in Zimbabwe. Everyone has their own area of specialization. And within our area of specialization, we can seek out the information that will enable us to make an impact when we still can. So that's what we really are trying to say. And, business, religion, philanthropy, um, politics, anything, we need to stay connected, and we can change our country. Sometimes people want to start big, but you can change one person at a time, and you will love to see the change that you have made. So there are many lessons that we are, getting as part of our life in the diaspora, in terms of how things are done. Some things that we know when you see it, I wish I had this in my township. I wish I had this in my village. I wish my village can become what I want it to be, so that when I take my children there, when I take my family back there, I won't leave in a half to go and find a hotel, because uh, I can't, I can't, I can't spend the night here with my children. So be the change that you want to see. That's the focus here. And we can all do each other play, each one playing their own part. We can all meaningfully contribute in our lifetime when we still can. I think that will be a good way for me to give, my my closing, really, my closing remarks. I don't know if you have, if you would want to give your comment, your closing remarks.
I think you have said it all. Here on South TV, our aim is to empower, inform, and to share knowledge, because this is what will push us forward. So I want to thank you, viewers, for spending time with us. Do not forget that even though we are here in the diaspora, there might be moments where you're thinking, I will never go back no matter what. But guess what? You might wake up one day and just feel that I want to go home. So think about that time where you feel that, you know what, Canada is too cold. This time I can't work, so I can't just be stuck indoors for 6 months when I could go home, especially after you retire. So think about now, think about tomorrow. Also think about your children, because your children might one day decide that, you know what, yes, diaspora is diaspora. I was never taken home. They decide to go to Zimbabwe by themselves. When they get there, they like it, and they decide to go back. And then if they decide to go back, they'll find that there is not even a single structure that the parents prepared for them. Just look at your needs, I guess, and think about your future and the future of your children. We continue to work, and as we close, I'll still remind people about the services that you can get from PS34 project services. P34 services, P34 project services, where you are going to work with someone who has actually got an experience, over 7 years experience of working with people in the diaspora. So he actually understands the standards that you require and the standards that you demand. And he is a professional. You can contact him on I'll post the poster so that you can get the number as well. But you can also ask us for the number and we'll give it to you, so that all your building needs are, are met. Even if you just want to get materials, or even if you just want to get a second quotation, and then you make up your mind, at least you're not just going with the first person. And also you will know that whatever you're being told about your building needs, are they true or not, or someone is adding a bit, which is what most of us people in the diaspora suffered, where the builder will add a couple of bags of cement for himself. Let us work with professionals, and then let us achieve what we want here in the diaspora, but also have peace of mind whilst we work on our projects back home. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We hope to see you again on Sunday. On Sunday, we'll be talking to a lady who has decided to wage a war against destiny destroyers. Anything that's coming against her children, our children. So we see each other on Sunday. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.